And she was like, all right, bet, since you want to keep talking, I'm gonna get the both of y'all. And I'm just like,
what do you say fuck me for?
hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this marvelous day? Okay, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take Bambi's style, okay, because I just love saying marvelous day. But how is everybody doing today? Give me 1 second, because as always, my dog does not like when I record videos while he's trying to sleep. You see his little tail? So he does not like it. Like, he'll be passed out as soon as I turn the ring light on and I start talking. He gets up, he does his little stretch, and he's ready to go. So now that we got him out the way, how's everybody doing today? I hope you all are doing well. Today I wanted to do a story time. I feel like I haven't done a Tori story time in a minute, and it's so crazy the way like I think about these stories and how they come up in my head. So we're gonna get to that, but before we get into anything, I do want to do my membership shout out, and today's membership shout out goes to Spicy Fairy. Thank you, girl, Spicy Fairy. Thank you so much for being a part of my membership and showing me so much love and support. As always, you guys don't understand how much y'all mean to me, and it's like so nice to have. I like to plug my membership, but like I don't like to plug my membership just for the simple fact that I like having like a little community of like, you know, the people that really like me and stuff, just so we could share like more personal, in-depth stuff that I just can't put out on here. So thank you so much for being a part of my membership. And as always, thank you to everyone who is subscribed and just shows me love in general. I really appreciate y'all. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the story time, because I got to give you guys some backstory on these people and what is to come. So if you can tell by the title, yes, I almost got beat up, okay? So let's go ahead and get started, because this story is like not funny but funny at the same time, and y'all are gonna see. Like, now thinking back on it, I thought it was funny. In the time, I was so upset. So boom, I already told y'all this is a Tori story time. So this is gonna go back to our junior year of high school. Now, I don't really talk about my hometown. I don't claim that place. I don't talk about it because there's nothing there that I need to claim. So, but for the sake of this video, my hometown was a suburb, but it was a very weird suburb in the sense of like the people that I went to high school with were very much about that life. As far as like fighting, beating people up, like they were about that life. They did not care, okay? Especially the girls, all right? And I think that's why I have like a different viewpoint, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's so trashy to fight. It's so, we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different upbringings. So like, so sorry to you if you've never got into a fight. Well, I guess not sorry to you, but if you never got into a fight and you look down on fighting, maybe this is not the story time or the channel for you, okay? Because things got popping where I grew up. So I don't want to hear it. I hate getting those comments. It's so annoying. Not everybody lives the same lifestyle you do, okay? So during this time, like people in the high school that I went to, like they ain't got no problems getting things popping. They had no problem, like, and I'm not just talking about like, we didn't go to no hood school. This was a suburb, and it was just like, if you talk shit, you get hit. That's how it was. Everybody was confrontational, from the white girls, the black girls, Hispanic girls, everybody got it popping. So there was a group of girls, and they were known for fighting, but they were known for like beating people up. Like they were always, there was videos of them on Snapchat, Instagram. Like they were so good at fighting that like in the middle of fights, they would like dance on the people they were fighting. Like it was a joke to them because they were just so good at fighting. Now, mind you, they're not like relevant to the story, but kind of relevant to the story. So I was always cool with the majority of people. I never really had problems with anybody. I was very Like I told y'all in previous story times, I wasn't popular, but I was known. And a lot of these people, we grew up together. So the girls that were like known for fighting, I had Spanish class with them in 8th grade. You know what I mean? And so we always were cool in the sense of like, if I saw them, I would say hi. We follow each other on Instagram. There was never any problems between me and these girls. But these girls were known, like, you don't play with them because they don't care. They will fight you. So I was always cool, and then it wasn't until our sophomore year that's when Tori moved into town. So like I said before, Tori was very to herself our sophomore year, and it wasn't until our junior and senior year that she really started getting into it with these people. Now, like I said, I was cool with these people. Tori was not. Well, she was at one point, but then she wasn't. So I never got into any altercations. I was also not in the mix. I was not at these parties. I was not at these people's houses. I was not at these kickbacks. First of all, I wasn't allowed to do anything. So my mom did not play that whole going to people's houses thing. So I was not in the mix for that reason, but I was also not in the mix because I was not problematic. Like, we'll get to when I turned problematic, but I was not problematic. Tori, when she had first started getting popular, she was cool with these people. She was cool with these girls. For the sake of, like, because I keep bringing these girls up, there's one specific girl. So for the sake of, like, because I keep kind of bringing her up, I'm going to call her Penny. So Penny was known for fighting. Like, you know, her crew and her people, they were known for fighting. So Penny was cool with Tori. Like, they actually were, like, they hung out before, they've been around each other, they actually saw each other outside of school. Now, Penny went to a different school, so after, like, middle school and stuff, we really didn't see each other, we didn't have anything, but we were still social media friends, we were cool like that. Now, Penny was very good friends with this girl, this new girl, and we are gonna call her Veronica. So Veronica, she was new to the area, I think it was. I don't really know what Veronica's story was, but she had came to our school. She didn't like grow up in the area, but she had came to our school, and she was very, very close with Penny and her group of people. Now Veronica, she was also in that kind of mix of, she plays no games, none, all right? She beat somebody up over some sneakers, okay? These were not girls, like, there are certain girls that you would like fight, but there's not, so sorry, no. It's levels to this, all right? You need to know who you can and can't. Like, I'm not gonna say I would back down from a fight, but at the same time, I'm not gonna go looking for them either, all right? Especially not with these ones. These ones got bodies under their belt. So Veronica was definitely one of those girls. She was really cool, really funny, really chill, but at the same time, like, you did not want to get on her bad side because she also did not play any kind of games. So fast forward, me and Tori have gotten cool. We became really, really close. Now, in this time that we got really close, I was starting to hang out with Tori a lot more outside of school. And she started dibbling and dabbling with, how do I want to say this? Schmealers, plugs. I don't even know if that makes sense, but she started getting into it with hang bangers, you know what I'm saying? And I use those terms very, very loosely. Like, these boys got into some stuff, but they weren't like nothing crazy. But she started getting really into that lifestyle and that scene of people. Mind you, Veronica was publicly dating this guy, and we are gonna call him Greg. So Veronica and Greg were very publicly dating on each other's Instagrams, on each other's Snapchats. They were very much a thing. So keep that in mind. me and Tori hit me up and she was like, oh, do you want to hang out, blah blah blah. And like I mentioned before, when it came to she was fiending any and everybody that would give her some. She was on go. Like, she liked getting smoked out. That was her favorite thing to do. And if you told her that you were going to do that, she was going to hang out with you. She was going to pull up on you, all that kind of stuff. So anytime me and her would hang out, she would hit me up being like, oh, do you want to come over? We could just chill. And the next thing you know, we're in somebody's car, in somebody's hood, doing things that we were not supposed to be doing. She hit me up one day and she was like, oh, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it, like whatever. And so she was like, oh, my friend Greg is going to come pick us up. Mind you, I didn't know who Greg was. I didn't follow him on Instagram. I didn't know him from a can of paint. I had no idea who this man was at all. Sorry, my hair is just, it keeps doing those little things. I did not know who this man was. I didn't really know his name. I didn't know anything about him. So when we get picked up, we're at her house and we get picked up. And it is Greg in the front seat, this random boy, and then me and her get into the back seat. Now, mind you, I off rip did not like Greg because I remember when I got into his car, I was like, hey, how are you? And he didn't say anything to me. So I was just like, okay, like, you're rude. I'm very big on that. Be nice. Like, I don't care how, like, hood you are, whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with being nice, especially to girls. Like, who cares? So I didn't put two and two together to know who that man was. No idea who that guy was. Greg was a stranger to me. So I was just like, you know, hi, how are you? And he was like, whatever. Now, mind you, this was like, this is a side note, but this was another reason why I did not like Greg, because he was like, oh, do y'all know how to roll? Y'all need to roll, blah, blah, blah. He was basically trying to tell us what to do. And like, Tori was like eating that up because I did not know what I'm about to tell y'all. So she was like eating it up and I did not like him. And I'm telling Tori, I'm like, I do not like this boy. Like, why do you have us with us? He's so rude. And of course, Tori being Tori, she was like,
Samantha doesn't like you. She says you're being rude.
So he was like, oh, do y'all know how to roll, blah, blah, blah. And then Tori was like, yeah, we know how to roll. So he gave us stuff so we could like roll or whatever. So I had rolled or whatever. And when I like gave it to him or whatever, he was like, I thought y'all said y'all know how to roll. What is this? And ever since then, I always kept it to myself. I don't. If you ask me, nope, I have no clue. Don't ever ask me to roll because nope, I'm not getting embarrassed. That was so embarrassing, so humiliating because him, Greg, and his friend thought that was so funny and they started making fun of us. And I'm like, you see, that's why I don't say anything because Tori would always hype herself up. She's like, I know how to pearl. I know how to roll. I know how to do this, that, and third. And we got embarrassed because it was apparently not up to par. So ever since then, I've never volunteered. I've never said I knew how. I don't know, okay? So off rip, I just thought he was the rudest person ever. Did not like him. And I was telling Tori that, like, when we would go to the gas station and stuff and they would get out the car, I'm just like, why did you bring this here? Like, I do not like him. I want to go home because he's so rude. Like, what is his problem? So she's basically telling me, she's like, no, like, he's actually really nice if you get to know him, blah, blah, blah. And the way she was talking about him was giving me very, like, why are you vouching for this man so much? Like, this was getting weird. So I was just like, okay, whatever, nothing. Now, mind you, it was nighttime outside. I wasn't looking into this man's eyes. I did not pay attention to his face. So I'm thinking, this is a stranger, okay? This is a stranger to me. So after that night that I met him, I told Tori I do not want to hang out with him anymore. He's so rude. I don't like him. Like, ew, bye. Don't want to talk to you anymore. And she was just telling me all the time. She's like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with Greg. I'm texting Greg. And everything was Greg. Everything. And so there was one day that she invited me over and Greg was over her house. And I started talking to him. He was like, hey, what's up? His whole demeanor changed. She was so much nicer to me. He was like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, hi. And he was like, why are you being so cold? I was like, because you were so rude to me the other night. Like, that's why I didn't want to hang out with you, because you were rude to me. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be rude to you. My bad. Like, let's start over. Hi, I'm Greg, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like looking at him, because now this is like daylight. We're inside her house. I'm like looking at him and I'm like, dang, he looks really, really familiar. Like, I don't know where I saw this man before, but like I've seen him before. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And you know, Tori was like boy crazy, fiend. I don't know. She had issues, man. So she's just like, everything this man said, it was so funny, and it was so this, and it was so that. So like, mind you, we're in her house. And I was like, well, I'm gonna make myself like some ramen or whatever. And she was like, okay, I'll be right back. Her and Greg go upstairs. So now, mind you, we all know what's up. I don't care. I'm just gonna make my ramen. You do what you gotta do, girl. Live your life, whatever. So I'm making my ramen, and I'm just chilling in her kitchen, and I'm like going through Instagram, and I'm, you know, checking it out, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm on Snapchat, because Snapchat was big at the time, and I put it together. The reason why I know who Greg was, and he looked so familiar, was because I had Veronica on my Instagram and my Snapchat. And Veronica was posting pictures of her and Greg. So I was like, no way. No way. No, 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 no. So I'm like, bro, you are posting your man and how y'all are together, and he's upstairs with my homegirl right now. So I was just like, now it's all making sense. All right, cool. I didn't say anything because like, it's really none of my business. This is not my man. This is not my problem. I'm not the one doing it. It is what it is. So when they come back downstairs, Greg leaves, and me and Tori are just talking, and she was just like, yeah, isn't he so cool? Like, I told you he wasn't mean. I told you he wasn't mean, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know that's Veronica's man, right? And she was like, girl, no, he's not. And I'm like, yes, Tori, stop. Like, you know that's Veronica's man. And she was like, well, he says that they're not together and that she just be posting him just to post him. And in my head, I'm like, girl, come on. Like, you can't sit here and say that. Like, oh, no girl. Like, bro, what? No girl is just posting a man just to post him. There is very few and far between instances where some rando girl is just going to post some guy. Stop. So I'm just like, I don't know, Tori. If I was gonna mess with anybody's man, it most definitely was not gonna be Veronica's. That's she beat somebody up over some Jordans. Jordans. What is she gonna do when she finds out that you are dealing with her man? Like, you're out of your mind. You're nuts. She will beat you up. She will kill you. What? Hello, if you don't know anything, it's like with girls like that, you don't mess with their man. You don't mess with their man. You don't mess with their friends. You don't try to jump. Like, you don't do that with these types of girls. Like, they're crazy. So I'm telling her that, and she's acting like, because Tori had gotten in a few fights, and she kind of like, you know, when you fight and you kind of feel yourself a little bit. So she had gotten in a few fights before, and she was like, nobody's worried about her. Nobody's worried about her. She's not going to do anything. And in my head, I'm just like, call me scary, but I don't know. I'm not really convinced that if it was between you and Veronica that you would win this fight. Veronica got experience. So I just kind of kept it hush hush. I didn't really like, it wasn't my business to tell. It wasn't my business to share. Me and Veronica weren't friends. So it's like, yeah, we were cool, but it wasn't like I was ever in her face, because I feel like that's different. Like, if me and her were cool, we had classes together, I'm haha and kiki, knowing that my best friend is like dealing with her man, I feel like that's a little like fake. But me and her weren't friends like that. We never crossed paths. We were just cool in the sense of like, we followed each other on Instagram, and like, that was pretty much it, kind of deal. I talked to her like one time maybe, you know. So I just minded my business. I didn't say anything about it because it wasn't my business to tell. So fast forward, time is going on, and they have a whole love affair, like hotel rooms. Tori is telling me all types of stuff. Mind you, we are in high school. It was so crazy, the stuff that we used to be on. So she was telling me all types of hotel rooms, and one day, when she was telling me, it was like really sad almost, and I kind of feel bad for like knowing this kind of information, to be honest. But it was Veronica's birthday, and she had a whole birthday dinner, and obviously Greg was there, and it was like this whole thing, and her and Greg and blah blah blah. And I'm just seeing these posts. Mind you, he would never post her. It was not like, I think he had Snapchat. I think we added each other on Snapchat, but I didn't have him on Instagram. But like, he never posted her. His Snapchat was always like his outfits, him, his homies, like, you know, typical stuff, you know. It wasn't anything crazy, but he never really posted her the way she posted him. She would do the whole like, oh my God, my love, I love you, da 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 da, whatever. And like, yeah, they had a toxic relationship, because that's another thing. She has no problem putting her business out. Veronica would just put it out there. So anytime they would fight and stuff, like, we would know. But as far as like him and his stuff, like, he never posted about her. But there was one day, like I was talking about, it was her birthday, and she had a whole birthday dinner, and she was like posting him and, you know, the whole thing. You know how everybody is on their birthday. And so that night, I was asking Tori, I'm like, oh, what are you up to or whatever? And she's like, oh, I'm going to the hotel room. Greg is about to come pick me up, and we're going to go to the hotel room. And I'm just like, on her birthday? You're gonna, like, y'all really just spent the night together. Like, mind you, they were out, like, you know, having a ball at her birthday dinner, and it's like, dang, he's about to drop her off to go pick you up to take you to a hotel room. What? It was insane to me. Like, I was just in shock that this was wild. Like, Tori really did not have a conscience, honestly, because it's like, girl, what? Or morals, for that reason, because it's like, you're seeing this just as much as I'm seeing it. Like, what are you doing? So whatever, they're like having their whole love affair. They got this whole thing going on. It was like weeks, months of them, you know, doing their own thing, even though he was technically with Veronica. So now, there had been like a time that Tori was just getting into it with everybody. Anybody under the sun was out for her head. She had gotten into so many like verbal altercations with these people, Twitter, Instagram. She was just getting in deep with these people. Now, mind you, Penny was friends with Veronica. She used to be friends with Tori, but they fell out or whatever. So one day, mind you, this was my junior year, senior year. I had an iPod because of the whole incident that happened with the guy crashing my mom's car. My parents took all my stuff away, so I was trapping out the iPod. And I got a DM on Instagram from Penny. And it was like a group DM. She had DM me and Tori in this little group thing. And she was like, what is this I'm hearing that y'all are talking bad about me on Twitter? And so I was confused, because at that time, I didn't even have a Twitter. So I was like, wait, what? And I was so confused. So I'm messaging Tori. I'm like, what is Penny talking about? What is she talking about? She's like, girl, I don't know. She's saying like, oh, I don't know. And I'm in the DMs like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a Twitter, so I don't know who's telling you that I'm talking bad about you on Twitter. because I don't have a Twitter to talk bad about you, and from what I thought, we were cool. Like, and so Penny is taking this as I'm backtracking because Tori was throwing subliminals on Twitter. Mind you, I don't have a Twitter, so I don't know what Tori's talking about. So she's throwing subliminals saying like, oh, this, that, and the third about Penny and her people. And I don't know what's going on because I don't have a Twitter, but Penny is thinking that I'm actively involved in this because I'm her friend. So I'm actively involved in the nonsense and the tomfoolery. And now that she's confronting me, I'm trying to be like, oh no, I don't have any problems, like trying to be scary. But I was genuinely confused. I'm like, first of all, I don't have a Twitter. Second of all, I don't even have a phone. So like, I don't know what it is. Like, what do you mean? And third of all, girl, I thought we were cool because I don't have anything to say about you. Literally, I had nothing to say about Penny. I'm not going to sit here and say that I was unproblematic during this time. Yes, I was talking about people. Yes, I was being messy, but like in all reality, it had nothing to do with her. Like I was being messy with other people. I was getting involved in other things, but it had nothing to do with Penny. So I was genuinely confused, and Penny was not buying it. She was just like, no, y'all are talking about me. So if I see you, it's on site, da-da-da. She's like, if I keep hearing that y'all are talking about me, we're gonna have a problem. And I just kept saying like, girl, not for nothing. Like I said, this is not a girl that I would want to fight, but like, you ain't gonna punk me either. Like, I'm not scared of you, but at the same time, it's like, I genuinely don't have a problem with you. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused. Confusion, okay? I am. So instead of taking heed to the warning, mind you, you are already messing with Veronica's man, okay? Knowing who Veronica is, knowing how she is, and now you are talking bad and throwing subliminals at Penny, and now you got us both in this hot water because I don't even know what's going on. So not only do you already have yourself in like a little pickle with Veronica, but you also got something going on with Penny. So instead of just taking the little warning that Penny had decided to give the both of us, because I wasn't worried about it because I'm not talking about nobody. I didn't say anything about anybody. So instead of taking that little warning as something to, reel back in, no. Tori decides to go on Snapchat and start talking so crazy about Penny. And not only talking crazy about Penny, but talking crazy about Penny's family. And that's what I'm talking about. Tori would get like, it's just like, girl, it's like alert, 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 relax, stop talking about these people, stop talking about these people. No, she took that as like, oh, you think I'm talking about you? I'm really gonna talk about you. And the thing was like, Tori was saying very specific things. It wasn't even subliminals anymore. All you have to do is say the girl's name. That is it. She was going in. She was like, oh, these bums claim this and you don't even have that. Y'all don't even have cars. Oh, I can't hear you. I'm in a house. Y'all are in an apartment. And I'm talking about, she was going crazy talking about these people. Now, mind you, Penny she wrote in deep. She had sisters and all that. So it's just like, okay, you're trying to get jumped, aren't you? That's really what you're trying to do. So after she went on this whole Snapchat rant, subliminally, but not really, talking about Penny, Penny goes back into our DM, the DM chat that we were in, and she was like, all right, bet, since you want to keep talking, I'm going to get the both of y'all. And I'm just like, why me? So I'm just like, see, Tori, like, you see what you get us into? Like, this is what I'm talking about. You did not have to go on Snapchat and start saying that. So Tori's taking it as like, oh my God, Sam, you're so scary. Like, why are you letting these girls ain't gonna do nothing, da-da-da-da. And it was just like, sure, whatever. Whether or not these girls were gonna fight us wasn't really the point, but it was just more so like, girl, she already thinks that I'm talking about her because of what you're saying on Twitter, even though I don't even have a Twitter. But now you decide to go on Snapchat, start talking crazy about her and her family and her economic situation. And now she's just like, oh, okay. So now when I see the both of y'all are both gonna get beat up. So I'm just like, girl, why do you do stuff like this? Like, what is your problem? Okay, let's reel it back in. So I'm getting mad at Tori, and I'm just like, bro, you see what I'm talking about? This is why, like, you get us in so many different issues, blah, 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 blah. Now, at this time, we were playing volleyball, and we were on, like, traveling teams and whatnot, and I was on a traveling team with Molly. Molly is cool with everybody. She's cool with every single person, okay? So we're just casually talking. I think we were at a tournament or something. We're casually talking. And Molly, like, brings up, she's like, Sam, who are you dealing with? I thought you were dealing with Armando. And I was like, yeah, why? And because it was still, like, new, kind of. Like, you know, when you don't really expose who you're talking to yet. Like, y'all are still talking, you know, that whole thing. So, like, it wasn't really, like, known or anything. So Molly was like, oh, like, I thought you were talking to Armando. And I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, well, like, I don't know the whole story, because that's how, like, Molly always talks. She's like, I don't know the whole story, but I heard Veronica is, like, really doesn't like you. And I'm like, why doesn't she like me? And she was like, because apparently people are saying that you're dealing with Greg. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, yeah, like, apparently, like, Veronica really does not like you, and she really does not like the fact that you are dealing with Greg. And because of the whole thing, like I told y'all, Penny and Veronica were cool, super cool. So it's like, okay, not only does Penny want to fight me because Tori's throwing subs and doing all this craziness on Snapchat and Twitter, but now Veronica doesn't like me either because she thinks I'm the one dealing with Greg. So obviously I bring it up to Tori. I'm like, yo, like, what is going on? Like, what did you do? And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even deal with Greg anymore. So, like, they're fine. And I'm trying to tell her, like, no, it's not fine. Because what I'm not going to keep doing is keep getting heat for something that you're the one doing. You are the one talking crazy on Twitter and Snapchat. You are the one causing these problems. You are the one dealing with this girl's man. I'm not getting beat up for nobody. And then Tori was trying to spin it on like oh, we're friends, we're best friends. So like if people are coming for me, they like, you need to be on my side. Why are you trying to be scary? She would always try to make it seem like I'm being scary and just like completely missing the point as far as like, no, the problem is I'm sick and tired of getting into situations because of you. You're the one dealing with this girl's man, not me. You're the one throwing subs, not me. So no, it's not like one of those situations girls ran up on you and I just let you get jumped. No, you are doing all this stuff and then I'm the one getting heat for it and people are trying to look for me. And like I said, these are not the girls that you want to get into fights with, okay? Especially not over their man. Like, what are you not understanding here? Like, what is this situation? So I'm basically telling her like, no, either you need to figure this out. You need to come clean. You need to, I don't know, maybe you don't need to come clean. Maybe you want to clarify the situation because I wasn't going to confront Veronica and I wasn't going to message her or anything like that because she hadn't messaged me. It wasn't like she confronted me. I was just hearing this through the grapevine. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing all these people telling, well, it wasn't all these people. Molly's telling me that Veronica was looking for me, and like Molly was like a pretty reliable source. So I'm just like, okay, why would this girl be looking for me? And especially talking about she's dealing with Greg, because Veronica would go on Instagram talking about, oh, you hoes trying to mess with my man. I got something for you. Da 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 da. Like she would say stuff like that on Instagram. So I'm like, obviously, she knows that this man is fooling around with people, and not to mention, she thinks her man is fooling around with me. No, I'm not taking the heat for this. So anytime I would bring it up to Tori, she's like, oh, you don't have anything to worry about. It's cool, blah, blah, blah. So I was just like, ma'am, what are we doing? Like, no, this is not. So me and Tori ended up getting into like a pretty heated argument about this, and we low-key stopped talking to each other because she did not want to take ownership of the fact that I wasn't going to get beat up for her. I wasn't going to get beat up for nobody. If I'm going to get beat up, or if I'm going to start fighting people, it's going to be off of my actions, off of my doing. I'm not getting into any altercation and have issues with people for somebody else's stuff. No, that's not happening. And like I said, she kept making it seem as if I was the one, like I was just being a bad friend because I didn't want to take the heat for her. Why would you even put me in a situation like this? Why would you even, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Tori was not a good friend. She used to put me in all kinds of stuff, and this is kind of segues. This is going to be like the first part of like the downfall of our friendship, because this is going to segue into the reason we stopped being friends like for a really, really long time to begin with. So I'm gonna leave y'all this with like there's gonna be a continuation to this story. But to wrap this whole story up, I ended up seeing Penny one day, and she was just like, oh, what's up? And I was like, hey, what's good? And then we ended up like squashing the beef, I guess. It wasn't even a squashing the beef. I was just like, girl, I didn't have anything to say about you. I wasn't the one talking about you. And she was like, no, I ain't got no problems. Because this is like, me and Tori weren't friends anymore. We had stopped talking. I had no idea what Tori was getting herself into. I had no idea what was up. And she was like, no, I already figured that out, that it wasn't you. I knew it was Tori. And I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. So like that situation ended up dying down. I don't know. I know that Tori and Veronica ended up having like beef. I don't know if Veronica ever knew or ever found out that it was, because like Veronica, like I said, she never confronted me and she never had issue with me because I never saw Veronica. I literally never saw her. So I feel like she was just going off of hearsay, because if like you had concrete evidence that I was dealing with your man, she's like the type to come to your house. So you know what I mean? It was like, I feel like if you knew that it was me, or if you had evidence that it was me, you would have just came to my house and tried to fight me. So I feel like she was just speculating, and that's why she was talking. But this whole time, like, girl, if you never figured it out, it was Tori messing with your man. It wasn't me. But, you know, we've all moved on from the situation. Her and Greg are still together and thriving, so that's amazing for them. But as far as that, I never messed with your man. I never dealt with him. That wasn't me. I was never talking bad about Penny. And yeah, Tori just got me into a whole lot of mess, and she almost got me beat up. And I wasn't even doing anything. I'm telling y'all, this really made me mad because I was already into like other stuff, like other people when it came to Armando. Like, you know, those story times that I told y'all about, like the whole volleyball game situation. I was already involved in that. I was involved with French Montana and that girl and Chloe. So like I already had my plate full with other things. I did not need to get involved with this group of people. So yeah, don't let your friends get you into anything. And then when I tell y'all this next story time about what happened between me and Tori, why we like officially stopped being friends, y'all are gonna be like, really? Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, choose your friends wisely. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.